listen. But DTB2, they did actually a study. Okay, this is a plan on how to contact your entire database every quarter. Because your database should get 4 calls a year. Okay, so if you organize it this way, you use this as you start at the beginning of the year, that's week 1, January 1st, right? And that first week, you're going to call everyone with an A and W. The last name, you can do it by last name, you can do it by first name, it doesn't matter. But what you do is you just you know, you do what I did here. Look. I'm trying not to make it disappear because I can. Here. See how these ones are labeled? SU, AW. So when you go ahead and search, you can actually filter this by the tags. So if I put a tag here to give me all the A's and W's. Okay. This right here. And then I apply the filter. The entire, all the contacts that are actually tagged by that AW are gonna come up. So you know the first week of the year, you're gonna call all those people. That's your homework right now. Okay. So what you do is you call them Monday. Okay. And you keep notes on it. Let's say you open this right here. Right? This gives you the health of the information you have. Like, you know, I only have 48% of the information, meaning that this is not a very strong contact, and that's why I have it as C. Really important, okay? A+, your database should be in this order, and take a note of it. A+ is the people that you're currently working with that are going to buy within the next 6 months, buy or sell. A should be people that are going to buy in the next 12 months. Or people that have referred your business in the last couple of years. Okay. B should be people that have bought with you in the last 24 months. Or people that you know they're going to buy down the line. You know. And C should be everybody else. You don't know when they're going to buy, but you have their information and you're actually going to be in contact with them. And the reason why is because since I showed you how to do this, how to find the tags, right? You can filter the tags, and now you can actually find people either by their order, you're going to call them, or you can actually identify them as buyers or sellers. Okay, or you can also identify them by the importance of the contact. So the C contacts are like the ones that my agents can call on. The reason why is because I'm only focused on the A's, A+, A, and B's. Okay, those are the ones that I constantly either on the phone or inviting them to my. I just had a customer appreciation event, and those are the people that go to those events. Those are the people that I, you know, constantly in front of. So the moment you get a lead, or actually starting before you get to 500, okay, do this with your contacts. Because let me tell you, when I did it, it was 3,000. That was not fun. Not fun. That's what I said. I literally spent 6 months organizing the database. and I'm extremely disappointed that this is how it looks now, which this is good. But the way I had it was even better because I actually had, there's people that I send a magazine every other month to, just like, cost me like $5 each. Okay, that I actually had to identify who they were. And now I'm literally blind. So part of the problem is that when I switched to the other system, I started buying leads. And now my contacts are 10,200, I believe. So when they try to do the transfer, the system choked. And it didn't happen right there. So really important for you to have somebody that knows how to do it. I'm actually having to use the regional tech support person to see if they can restore the database, because I have always run independently. Yeah. But Command has had so many improvements, especially on the team management side, that I've just decided why pay when I can have it for free, right? So just remember, every name you collect, every contact or information you get, you put it on the system and you put tags. Okay. And the way you put a tag, well, I won't get into that, it's just too long, but you can label it as where it came from, like what the source is. A tag would be open house. Another tag would be church. Another tag would be, the source, right? Like I use a lot of the Torrance Chamber. I use open houses. I use online lead, just different. So you actually, when you look at a content, you know where it came from, and you can recreate it. Okay, so that's important, and that's why I gave you that sheet there that you can actually use to be able to make your calls timely and forward. Okay, so that's going to make it very easy and less confusing to do the follow-up, right? Because you can have 10,000 people in your database, and if you don't call them, I can tell you what the results will be, right? So if you have 150, and if they're on your phone right now, that you're not doing real estate, are people that probably, if you call them, they probably know who you are, right? So that right there is your first, it's your first database, and actually, my suggestion would be is when you start doing that, organizing it the way I'm telling you, give them a call. Do an actual call. And the reason why is because it's just going to be easier. Because if you just sit down and try to do it all in one, it's just not going to happen. And that way you can actually update their information, because you're going to find out that there's information there that you probably it's not good anymore. Okay, and you can actually clean even your contacts on the phone. So, what are ways to follow up? Let's say you meet somebody at the gym, and this person is like, "Oh yeah, I've been thinking about buying." What do you do next?
Well, follow up and call afterwards.
Right.
Hope I was saying, oh, Josh was at the gym. He told me they're interested in buying. Set up an appointment.
That's follow. Okay. So my suggestion is at the gym, don't pass this. Right? No, no, the reason why is because what you want is you want to get the information, right? So what I do is I have a picture of my business card. And in situations like that, I say, "Oh, give me your number. I'm going to send it to you right now." The reason why is because I want to get their number. Second, did you get it? I want to make sure that you give me the right number.
I usually, that's funny you say that. Every time I do that, I text them, and they'll make a joke and say, "Oh, to see if I give you the right number." And I do that.
Well, it's true.
It happens.
It happens. In open houses, people constantly give the wrong numbers. Like if you ask them to sign in, but you didn't do a good job of connecting with them, they're gonna give you the wrong information. So the only way to discern, you to get that correct information, in your email address and all that, is doing a heck of a job of connecting. On there, okay? So, the goal on the follow-up is to do what? You said it. Set up an appointment. If he's a buyer, where are you gonna meet? No? Okay. Well, you were, office is number one. The reason why is this. They want it, when you meet with people at a coffee shop, it's informal. When you meet at their home, they're in control. Okay, when you bring them into the office, okay, you want them to see how serious you are. This is my office. Huge office, right? Nice conference room. That right there, it kind of makes the relationship formal. So after you meet with them in your office and you sit with them for half an hour or an hour, whatever long it takes, now you are their realtor. Okay, when you meet with them at the coffee shop, when you meet with them at home, it's not formal. I mean, if that's all you can get, you take it. But you don't really have a client in a way until you bring him in and you like tell them exactly how it's going to go down. Okay, so enough of that for follow up. Okay, the life of a lead. This is really important, by the way. In our entire database of all our contacts, this is what happens. Okay, so when we get a lead here at an open house and they say, I'm going to buy in the next 3 months or 6 months, the lead is actually on the move, going up. After they buy the house, what happens? It comes down, right?
Yeah. They don't want, probably don't want.
So the follow-up is different. Because now you actually got to the goal, you got paid. You sold them a house, or you sold their house, they moved, now they're in a brand new house. So the house is, the lead is in a decline. But what happens? What happens now? They say there's 7 to 10 years for people to actually consider buying a new home. So this right here can be 4 or 5 years. So it's really important for you to keep that lead and identify it as A or B. Okay, so there in command, there's ways to put them on what's called a campaign or a drip, to where they get every other week, bi-weekly, they get a market in their neighborhood. Okay, and that's one, by the way, that's very easy to do. And just that right there is 24 touches to that one contact. You do it in a couple places. Okay, if that's what you did, you're already ahead of the game. So and that's what's happening when the lead when you just bought and the lead is coming down. So all of a sudden you get a call, and by the way, those are the most beautiful calls. Okay, and you don't start experiencing that until, I don't know. For me, I think it started happening more after 5 years, but on the 7th year and up, let me tell you, you can be having a horrible day because nobody answers the phone when you call. Somebody maybe just yell at you on the phone. Well, somebody yelled at you the other day, right? Go hang up on you.
Yeah.
No. I told one of my agents, I said, are you going to therapy? And somebody just literally.
Yeah, I've gotten yelled at.
Yeah.
Where I work at. It's
Yeah.
not fun,
No,
especially if you just, doing your job.
right. So, yeah, people are pretty bad. So anyway. So it gets down here and then, of course, they're on the move again because now they want to upgrade, right? You sold their first house. And you're having a really bad day and somebody calls. And because you actually have them saved in your phone, you know who it is. And the conversation goes something like this. Hi, Aaron. Thank you for staying in touch for all this time. And by the way, we're thinking of moving. Your heart just keeps one. And from there, you're like, oh my God, there's a listing. But wait, they're gonna buy. There's a listing and a purchase, right? That's the transaction. I tell you, when you get those calls, you're gonna know. So again, we start courting. So we start courting again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is the 7 years that actually takes for the lead to come back.
So do you want to start at the bottom?
Well, you never want to stop,
Okay.
right? So what we do is, this is just the life of the lead. This is actually, because unless it's an investor, like I met this lady in Manhattan Beach, Elizabeth. I met her right before COVID. And during COVID, every week I would give her a call. Just to ask if she needed something or, and she became my friend. In the last 3 years, I have sold her 3 properties here locally. And I have sold 2 properties for her in, not Colorado, Hill Company. But literally, I just got the 2 referral checks. And I can't think of the place. Those are beautiful people to meet too, okay? Because they own multiple properties. And I have done 3 1031 exchanges for her. I'm sure that when she retires, the kids that live in that moving to Texas, they're probably gonna want to sell the property. So that's gonna be another fun phone call, right? Yeah. So, but that you can only enjoy that if you do a good job at keeping the lead and keeping it right there in your warm pocket. And the way to keep them warm is by sending them their report. It doesn't matter if they don't open it. The fact is that they, well, some people have thousands of emails unopened on their emails, but
I like to try to keep mine clean. I've had emails where I let it just stack.
Yeah, that's part of my routine. I keep that email like,
Every day
clean.
I have to clean it because
Yeah.
it get crazy.
well, no, and the thing is that when you're dealing, like right now, we have 3 escrows going, plus a couple of active listings. So you can just imagine, right? I can miss something if I don't keep my email clean. So right, the first thing I do is I highlight all of them. Check them 50 at a time, and then I go, okay, I need this one, this, and that way, boom, eliminate all the junk. That way I don't get distracted. And I only leave the ones that I need to attend to. And I do that like in the morning, and I do that in the evening. Because by them, I mean, literally, if I don't look at my email from right now to the end of the day, there's about 300 emails that come in. Imagine how that will look. But so it's crazy. So you have to keep it, and you'll find that out. Okay? You're gonna find that out when you miss something, and it bites it. That's the only way we learn the hard way. It's true. All right. So anyway, so during the life of a lead, let's say you get somebody that's 30 years old and buying their first house. Okay, at 37, for 7 years, they buy a second house and sell. So that's 3 transactions. Right? At 44, they upgrade. They're gonna sell and they're gonna buy. That's 5 transactions. This one. Right, 1 person, 1 family. Okay, and they're young. So 47, 7 more years, 51 years, the best of their income, but they're making the most money. They upgrade now, instead of $1 million, it's gonna be a $2 million home. Right now, we're talking about 7 transactions. So. Before you know, in the life of a lead, depending on when you meet them. In your lifetime as a real estate agent, those people can be worth 10 transactions. But did you know that? I believe it's 80. You remember it's 84 or 87% of the agents after they sell a home, they don't follow up with their people.
I've heard a lot.
Do you,
I've heard,
just do the math, right? Let's say I'm flat $1 million. So let's average it. So 10 homes in a lifetime, that's $10 million. You know how much income that is at 2.5%? $250,000. And all you had to do is be aware that this is going to happen.
there's a system.
Right. And I mean, if you were 20, 30 years ago, we had to do it all by phone, all by writing a letter or typing a letter. Yeah. Now we can just click, boom, they're being touched 24 times every year. This doesn't stop every year. Automatic. Okay. Then you do the D2, you put them on. Oh, by the way, all those campaigns, they're already set for you. They're already there on the system. So now you put them on the 4 calls a year, which is the quarterly call in this order, right? That's 30 touches. We need 6 more.
So 30 touches is how many times you reach out to them?
Yes, either via text, via email, or phone call. And we actually get into more detail here. Well, so this is actually this is what we'll be talking about, right? So the possible business is out of your database. You know, an agent that's a friend of mine, and I actually played golf with him, with the lender and a couple of other people. Stephen Mines. He actually he was the majority owner of this office, and he sold it. I used to sit right where Sandra sits. Actually, I used to be a squatter there. In no, you know the cubicles used to be a whole bunch of. They call it the no, not okay. So there were like 4 lines of cubicles facing that way, and right where you are was the last one in the back. So there were people that actually rented that cubicle, but they were never here. And so I would just go and sit there, and when if they would come, I would just move. And then there were on the outside, there were open cubicles, just like that. There were little cubicles, and then you can come there. So Steve Ryan goes by, and he goes, "Who are you?" He's an interesting guy. You meet him. He goes, "Who are you?" Oh, I said, "My name is Aaron. I'm new here, but I came to, I told him, I came up, I'm gonna start a team, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that." He goes, "You don't need a team." He tells me, you know, I do this much, like, I'm like. And he goes, "Are you any good?" That's Steve. But you realize that we have to have one. We have to have vision. We have to have a goal. That's okay. And those people that are successful always pay attention to this. One little thing, and this is the thing I got from him. He told me, "Aaron," he goes, "This is it's just like a farm. Just like a farm." He goes, "This is what you do. You go get people, you throw them in there, and you just stir them. Throw them in there, and you just stir them. You know, everybody has a different plan. Everybody has a different time. What you do is you throw them in there, you tend to them. You follow up, you call them, you text them, you email them." He goes, "Sooner or later, one of those is gonna do. It's gonna come out on the bottom. That one is the one that's ready to buy or sell. Right? So I always think of that, because it's a funnel. And that's why I tell my team, I said, just get as many as you want. I mean, as many as you can, and just throw it in the funnel. And at different times, I said, they're gonna pop. And they're starting to, I mean, they invested 6 months of just making calls, doing this, doing that. And just now, they're starting to experience the results. Because it takes time. It's definitely not an easy, it's not an easy process. Yes, you're gonna get lucky, you're gonna find somebody, you know, I got my first listing out of week of being licensed from a referral. The chamber country. So those are happy. But my next one didn't happen until 6 months later. So it takes time. So it's really important to just keep touching. Keep tending to them. And when they're ready, the problem is that a lot of times we approach people, or at least we approach them to like, you're desperate for a transaction. And that's what they call. We call it permission breath, right? Meaning that people, you talk to them and they can smell it on you, they're in desperate need of that transaction. But we can't come across like that because they're gonna be ready when they're ready, right? So anyway, so this is all we have to do. Database, different ways of contacting. Now we even have social media where we can stalk them, so it's even better. Okay? And then we can actually build a profitable business. And like I said, you know, there's this one lady that I sold her house. I sold her house in 2018. Okay.
How long?
I'm in the business, I'm going my 10th year. Yeah,
Was it tough?
actually, no, it was starting to pick up, it was 2013.
I remember when I first moved to LA, sorry for cutting.
No,
I first moved to LA in 2013. From New York. And I didn't know anything about real estate or finance, anything like that. But as the years went on, I started hearing just, oh, the property is so cheap, because I live right next to Culver City. And that's the city I will eventually want to live in. And seeing what Culver City went through 2011 till now,
incredible.
they used to call like it was $250 million for $1,000. Now they're.
Yeah, no, that I already took off. Well, but then
It's amazing, actually.
but the city did a lot to, they turned that area
Yeah,
around.
it looks
Amazing, yeah. So anyway. So this lady that I met, actually somebody referred me to her, right? A financial planner referred me. I sold her house. And since I met, I was supposed to have done lunch with her Tuesday, but she was not feeling well. Some people might take too much water. Okay, or a happy hour or whatever, right? In the almost 5 years that I know her, she has referred me almost $8 million worth of business. You better believe I'm gonna take care of her.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And the same thing, but open houses are the same way. You know, I track, I have one open house that has given me like $8 million worth of business. Just by just helping one person. And actually that was literally helping, and that's why when you do good, you do the nice stuff for other people, when you get back, it's high. Okay, that's true. So the potential of one contact, it's just incredible. So that's why this is super important. Right. So how do we stay relevant? Follow up. We make friends on Facebook, and that's what's important for us to be professional.
Build relationships.
Yeah, build relationships. You like their stuff on Facebook. You don't have to make a call. But let me tell you something. If you see their stuff and you like them or put a little heart or whatever,
They know.
they know
We
you're there.
know this, you know?
They know you're there, right? they're looking for those likes. It's crazy, people put a picture and they're like, uh. Have you read the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book?
Currently,
Okay. It's read it at least twice.
it's opened my mind. I'm only on chapter 3.
Okay.
It's open.
I do article, so I listen to stuff.
So I've been doing both. So when I'm on the road, I listen to audible. When I'm home, I just go back to where I.
Yeah.
to read.
If I'm actually home and listening to article, I have the book open because I like to highlight little points. Yeah, it's really good. So the goal of the communication is to be the person that when they think of real estate, I have to call. I have to call Josh. And if I'm saying, where and if you don't pick up the phone when they call, Josh, guess who they got call? The second person in their mind, right? If that second person in their mind pick up the phone,
Third grade. If they don't.
right. If the second person picks up, forget it, even if you were the first in their mind. Whoever gets to it first.
Yeah.
So that's what's super important, okay? So here's what I was saying. Okay, there's two different plans, okay? There is the 36 touch and the 19. So a lead, this is how you approach it. The contact is 36 touches. I say, once
Also, if it's a lead, it's 19.
so if it's a lead, so a lead is, somebody who just met at an open house and said that, they're interested in buying down in the future, right?
Yeah.
But if so that will go under lead, and that will be what you do. Okay, you do 4 touches, quarterly phone calls, which is this method. 12 touches, monthly emails. And then you do 2 other, like a postcard or something. And then an annual, maybe a movie party or some, there's agents that actually rent movie theaters. And invite all their clients to watch a movie. Right? And, free popcorn, free whatever.
Bring your kids.
Yeah.
That's
It's a cool way to do it. I did it at a wine bar. So this time was only for adults, but they sure loved it. Okay. So a contact comes, somebody comes to an open house and says, okay, yeah, we're ready to buy and we're looking for an agent. We put that under a lead, we put that under contact. Contact. Yeah. Okay, because lead is somebody that's not quite ready. I mean, somebody walking into an open house, I'm ready to buy.
Also,
You go in super mode.
so, okay, so if they're ready to buy, they're not a lead. Leads are someone who has potential to buy.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. So this right here is practically somebody that you're working with. Or somebody that should pass plan. That will be somebody that, that you kind of warming up.
So let's say I have a friend, 2 friends. One is they're looking to buy next year, and the other one's looking to buy sometime next year too. Would that be considered a lead or a contact?
Oh, those because they're already your friends, the people that you know contacts.
Okay.
People that you don't know that are thinking of buying. So, okay, so then you can give them this treatment right here. Okay, and it's very easy. I mean, just this right here, the bi-weekly gives you that 26 of those touches. So it's not that crazy complicated. Okay, and these are some of the best practices. And that's sort of like self-assessment, right? What is it that I'm good at? I do better, I think I do better in person than I do on the phone.
I don't know what it is about home. It's like sometimes my brain just improves.
Well,
When in person, it's easier.
and that's why this is super really important, okay? You need to figure out how to get past that and start thinking different. And this is how you do it. Look at yourself. Even when you're talking to your friends, get in front of a mirror and look at yourself, how you be. Because how you're sitting on the sofa when you're talking to friends, it'll project. So when you smile, when you're talking, have you ever had somebody tell you, my face hurts from talking to you?
Yeah.
Right, because you're smiling so much and that goes through and creates a connection with the other person. Same thing when you're talking to somebody about real estate. You don't want to call and sound like, this is Aaron from Keller Williams. Well, believe it or not, well, that's the thing, sometimes when we all have different personalities, right? Some of us are, a little more active and some of us are a little shy. Well, I make suggestions. If you're shy, practice how not to be shy when you're making calls. Because when we are only the way we are, we're limiting connecting with people that are just like us. And that's why, have you done the DISC assessment? This? Okay. Write this down. Did you do your center? Okay. Please do and send it to me.
Okay.
Go to TonyRobbins.com. TonyRobbins.com/DISC. It's a free assessment. If you want to know more and you want to compare this, charge $30. So it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to do that. Do it because you're gonna find out exactly who you are. Okay. The important about it is one, to know who you are, but the other part is to actually be able to identify the personalities of other people. Like you get so good at it that when you see people walking through your open house, you go, that's a D, that's an I, that's an S, and that's a C. And what you do is, be yourself, be authentic, and be real. Don't try to be something that you're not. So you have to learn, right? Because if it's a person that just goes in and a person at D is a direct person. Most CEOs of companies are Ds. They don't like details, the visionary, they like the big thinking, right? The I's are the happy-go-lucky party animals. Okay. The S's are the ones that are very thorough. And the C's are also like by the book. So how you approach the different personalities has a lot to do on how you connect. Because a D doesn't want to know the whole story of the house when it was built and what it took to build it. He just wants to know practically it's in good condition, how much is it, what's going to take. I have had listings where people have like these, they're like, where's the contract? I'm like, right. Right? But then there's the eyes and the eyes first are gonna talk your ear off for 20 minutes before they even talk about the house. They're just gonna tell you their story, right? And the S's and the C's, those are the ones that are gonna look through the contract piece by piece. And why would that be really important to know who the audience is? And you can tell that on the phone too by the questions they ask. Because you want to prepare for it. Right? If you know you're going to be meeting with a C, you better read the contract again and make sure that it's filled out correctly. So they're going to point it out. They're going to circle it. They're going to mark it. So by being almost a chameleon, a lot of people don't like that word, but a chameleon, if you do it, if you master it, then you can come across authentic. So and this is how I experience this, okay? 70% of my clients to this day are Asian. Why? Well, I went to investigate. I started reading books about the culture, I started like reading into feng shui, I started learning about the whole religion of everything, right? I just wanted to figure out why am I attracting Asian plants. Well, after reading, after all the knowledge, now I'm like trying to do stuff at the open houses that it will be more like them or their culture. What I realized is that I was mimicking something that that wasn't quite natural. And I got rid of everything and I said, okay, going back to what I've been doing, because I don't know what I'm doing, but it's happening. Sometimes you're gonna find that things like that. The interesting part is that when, I do, the conversation that I was having with them was around things that they do. I do meditation, I've done yoga, I love reading and that kind of stuff. I don't know if that was connected. The other thing is your energy. And I always tell people, whenever you're gonna go lead generate, put your mind, whatever's bugging you, just leave it somewhere. Put it in a corner, leave it out. Because if you in your head worry about other stuff when you lead generate, guess what's gonna go through? Your busy head. Okay? If you go into an open house and you just got into a fight with your husband or wife before you left to the open house, how do you think you're gonna be at the open house? I mean, you think you're gonna be rude, right? So that's what we need to get into the right energy. And I'm a big person about that in regards to like we attract alike. And people can attract without even talking.
Yeah, like that.
Yes. So that energy is really important. Okay? And I highly recommend that to take a few minutes before you start the calling, but to get to the open house early, so you're not hustling and running and people are coming in and you're already like turning the lights on. So just give yourself plenty of time. So identify really what your strengths are. How much time should I take to reach out? How many times should you call somebody to give you their information at an open house? What do you guys think? Yeah, that's just the plan when you already have the contact, right?
So if they show up at our house, follow up.
Yes, if sometimes, okay, if you haven't signed in electronically, they can get an email right after they leave. But if you are in paper, then you want to do, first of all, let them know that you're gonna be calling. I always do, okay? I always tell them to do it by assisting myself. The Monday, you call them, verify that you got the right number. Right, and you'd be surprised how many people put the wrong number. Then you send them an email, if it doesn't bounce, you're good. Then it goes into your database. Okay, and then you set them up on the 19 touches or the 36, depending on what, if it's a contact versus a lead. You were outside when I cover contact versus a lead. You know what the difference is? Is a contact is somebody that you just met and says into an open house and there is interest in buying in the next year. And you're going to start now. You don't know them, you just met them. A contact is somebody that you have on your phone that if you call them, will actually know you have had communication with, right? So the recommendation is 19 touches to 36 touches between the lead 19 and the contact 36. But if somebody comes to an open house and says, I want to buy, just so if they say, I'm going to buy it now, they can be promoted immediately to contacts, right? So Because now you're gonna be working with them.
You tag that and you can, contact me.
Well, everything in command is, it will be a contact. Okay, so, you don't have to tag them that way. What you do is you use the A class, you use the A, and you use the BC, right? C is gonna be everybody that you get. And then we go into A classes, somebody you're working with. A's are the ones that they have bought or refer your business, or they're like gonna buy in the next 6 to 12 months. So what you do is you as you follow up, you're gonna start grading the importance of the contact. If that's the A, B, and C. Because if you have a bunch of A contacts, your future is looking pretty good, right? Because you have to stop coming. So wait to identify it. So depending on, and that's why it's really important to have the open house books. They have, they're gonna buy in the next 3, 6 months, 1 year, whatever.
Okay.
So you can use that as a guide of how important it is to stay in touch with them. Because if they say they're gonna buy in the next 3 to 6 months, they're buying if they see something right away. So you don't wait, okay, well, let me put that on my appointment in 3 months. Oh, no. You want to start building that relationship and get that appointment right away. Because I always tell people, I meet with people a year in advance just to make sure that everything is aligned, that you're doing all the right things. Take a look at your finances and what do you need to do to be ready. Okay? And get the appointment. Because what you want to do is you want to create that relationship. Okay. So this is all the, okay. These are all the potential lead sources. Somebody calls in from a sign. Like all my signs have a Google number that rings into all my team members, right? Whoever picks it up first gets it. So, and if they don't pick it up, if it rings 3 times, I'm picking it up. And guess who gets it? Exactly. So, but they get first shows. Community events, open houses, I mean, traditional marketing, your agent website. I mean, unless you're paying for ads and driving people to the website. So don't be too attached on how all that stuff looks right now. When you start making money, you can pay somebody to get it done nicely. In the meantime, lead generate. Okay. So these are all different ways. Were you guys here for the leasing presentation yesterday? On me? Okay. So it's really important. It needs to be about the client, and that's what the questions. If somebody says, "Oh, I want to buy or I want to sell," you don't go and say, "Well, let me tell you how good I am." Right? It needs to be about finding out why. Why are you thinking of something? What's making you move? You need, and the reason why is because that comes really handy later on when you have to go back to their motivation. Because people, trust me, real estate is one of those businesses that is not done until it's done. And that is one thing I've learned. I have had escrow counsel 2 days before actual closing. I had already spent the money, it's a problem. So you always want to hear more. Tell me more. How is that going to affect you and your family? Okay. Around those 3 questions, there's a whole conversation to be had. And to be able to note, by the way. If you're sitting down and taking notes, take note of what they're telling you. Because people will change their mind. Let's say they decided to list the house, it's already on the market, they hasn't sold for 2 weeks, so they're like, oh, you know what, I'm thinking of maybe not doing this anymore. Well, you wrote down that, they want to be by the beach, or they're going to be with the grandkids if they move over there. So you're going to go ahead and bring them back. Oh, so what changed? Because I remember you telling me that you really want to be with your grandchildren, or you want to see them grow, and that your daughter or son is your helper with. What changed? What you're doing is you rewiring them in a sense of reminding them of why and how the move will affect what's important to them. And that's why you're right. Right? What time is it? Aha. Tell me, what have you learned? You have a very boring instructor. Okay, got it. Let's get that one out of the way.
They nurture the relationship over the whole time.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
almost desperate.
mhm.
Patient.
Oh, it's a lot of patience needed in this business.
Be patient and. Take what you do.
Miss Sandra?
I think following up is really the hardest thing for me to do.
You forgot something really important. Organize your database when it was small.
Yeah. That,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
If that becomes and I'm gonna say it, a freaking nightmare.
Trust me, when I started putting my database together, I wanted to try to like really easy way, get a whole spreadsheet and import it. And it took hours to do that, it didn't work out, so I just did it all one by one. And that was only 100.
Do you have Google? Do you have your contacts on Google? What are you having?
I used to have it in a spreadsheet, Excel, and I tried to import it.
Well, there's a template. There's a template spreadsheet that you have to use, otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah, and then I tried to use that template and it broke, so after hours of trying, I just did it all one by one, and that took hours.
Because a part of you coming on board, there's a, what's called, yes. They're supposed to take your contacts and import it for you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, that was,
Let's do that.
it worked out.
It didn't work out?
It worked out, I had to,
Oh,
and
look at it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I just did it all one by one, that took hours for only 50 people,
Yeah.
so I can imagine 3,000.
No, it was insane. And actually, I was able to reduce it to 22 in the process. Because there's some that I had to delete, which may have a lot, see. Yes, you want to hold on to every lead, but you need to make sure that it's actually a lead, right? That the information is correct or whatever. I had a lot of business contacts because when I was in banking, I belonged to, at one point, I was in 6 different boards for nonprofits. And I belonged to 4 different chambers of commerce. So I got a lot of business contacts. And a lot of those people have moved, a lot of those people have changed jobs. So they were not real true contacts. So I took it down to 2,200. And then when I went, then I exported it to Lions Desk, which is the system that I use now with special tools and a company that actually runs it for me. So now the leads are over 10,000. So when I try to come back to command, it just messed everything up. And I'm hoping that they saved the contacts. I'm hoping it can be exported back or imported back. Anyway, it hurts from just thinking about it. Oh, look at this. What is that? Funnel,
It is a.
right? So this is the thing. So you throw everything in there. Some are going to be leads, some are going to be contacts. Okay, and from there, you continue to cultivate them. You touch them, meaning you call them, you email them, you text them, you slap them on Facebook, or you comment on their stuff, you like their stuff, and just put a little comment on Facebook. And the reason why I say do that is because I know everybody spends time on social media, right? So make a little comment. Oh my God, that looks great. Where is that? If they're hiking. Oh, I noticed you hike a lot. Do you have any suggestion? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Interacting, right? And next thing you know, you guys are doing hike together. You think that if you go on a hike with somebody that's thinking of buying, you have them for 1 or 2 hours, so you can actually really cement that the relationship, right? That's it. I mean, you better be a wonderful thing. You're not gonna be talking about business the entire time. Okay, you want, you want to talk about regular stuff, where people don't normally talk regular stuff, yet you want to make sure that they remember that you're in real estate. And the way you do that, by the way, you ask them about their job. How they're doing their work, what their business, oh, how's your business? How's work? Because what happened right after that? They're gonna ask you about yours, how about yours, right? And that's the plan. But you don't go, hey, let me talk about real estate, the market is acting crazy.
To say that, I do that sometimes. I'll ask, to tell people what I do, I'll ask them about their job, and they eventually ask me.
Correct. But that's the right way, because people don't care about you. Right? They care about themselves. Their favorite subject, talk about stuff. So. Just nature. All right, so we covered this part. So all that is happening, okay? So what you want is to have all those 150 people you have in there, okay? Being moved, cultivated. Because it's just like a farmer, right? They go, they first prepare the dirt, then they put the little seed, then they nurture. So the seed grow. And then months, years later, you get a fruit. Same stuff. All you have to do is just clean it, protect it, water it, tend to it. And that system is exactly that. That's what it does. Yeah. Oh, sometimes, yeah. High value touch. Well, I just said, going on a hike. People at school, use your kids, hi days. Seriously.
I used to do full nights.
Okay.
Billiards.
Mhm.
And that's right along right here. Up the billiards before.
Oh, really?
And now this is not. And we'll just hang out there and then one of those.
Oh, you're pretty good.
I love pool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the answer is yes.
I-
Actually, Chris and Tyler, and myself, we went to watch the sixth game of the Lakers in the last round
Yeah.
at Sports Harbor. They have a couple pool tables there. So, I'm not that good, but I love playing.
I'll go down.
All right, so things like that are the ones that are going to connect. And those are the ones that are going to give you all the benefits of keeping that relationship. And for you to be, what's the goal? What's the goal of following this whole plan? What's the goal?
To get leads.
Okay, well, no, you already have the leads. So you're working with the leads. What's the goal?
To get them to buy or sell. Well, build a relationship,
Your friend.
build a database. Nurture them, your database.
Uh-huh. You should ask for help. Look at your neighbor. No. Okay. Okay, so the goal is to become one or number two in their mind when they think of real estate. Yes, I mean, ultimately, until they think of you for that, through this process, you don't have a chance. Remember, and the other part that's really important is that if you number one in their mind for real estate, and they call you and you don't pick up the phone, they might leave you a message to call them. But guess what they're gonna do right after that? They're gonna call the number two person in their mind about real estate. And if that person picks up, you lost. The moral of the story is pick up your phone. Right? Now, this entire business, you wanted the secret? Great. Okay. I know this is disappearing.
Like mailers?
No, this is just a little postcard, a little part of blank card that you can actually just write a little note saying, oh, it was, I mean, you can do it right after a conversation, right? You say, hey, it was great talking to you the other day. I just wanted to, say thank you for giving me your time or whatever.
I actually do that, and people appreciate that it's handwriting.
Yes, there's,
When you do that, how do you?
Mm.
I never got one. Yeah, what you want to do is, like, if you go meet with someone, after you meet with them, say thank you. If you had lunch or they treated you to lunch or to something, coffee, whatever, say a thank you note. Those little things are really important. By the way, now there is machines, there's robots that can actually do that. They can make it look like handwritten.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The handwriting is better.
it gets expensive. Well, my handwriting is horrible. I should have been a doctor. And actually that is something that a lot of the new generations, they have horrible handwriting because nobody's writing it. Everything is on a tablet or on a computer. So kids don't write anymore. I'm sure the homeschool kids probably, they have to
Oh, it's a lot. In person.
in cursive.
I notice when I don't write for a long period of time and I'm typing, and I go writing it, and I look at my hair
No, it's horrible. I mean, I write notes all the time on my book and then I'm like,
and I draw, so you think it, retain.
but anyway, so follow this, look. If people simply came to this class, okay, they did a night. But they actually did this part. They made mandatory. This time they thought it was gonna work. They made it mandatory that from 9 to 11, they're gonna be prospecting here. And from 11:30 to 1:30, it's gonna be normal training, right? There's 2 people that I see that come in the morning. And today they're not here. So you can be the smartest agent, but if you don't do these smallest activities, nothing happens. And again, lead generation is it's everything. When you call people, legally we have to say, make sure that you look at the do not call list. By the way, people that give you their information on open houses, totally okay. And don't get rid of the logins of the signings. I will not keep them.
So if someone who gave you the information at open house or do not call it, you can call.
You can call. You have that they give you the information. Yeah, I don't even check on this. Because they provided me the information. I told them no problem. So it's no problem. Okay.
I engage every conversation with the spirit of contribution. Or have this relationship.
What does that mean?
Being a genuine person, kind, elated.
Okay. What's contribution?
Contribution when you add to a so you conversions of your ad.
Just showing my value.
Yes. When you actually bring value to people, right? So, perfect example, my way of giving back is by volunteering to teach this class, and put 2 hours of my time in teaching this classes. That's coming from contribution. That's my contribution to new agents or my contribution to the company. Okay. when we meet with our friends. Okay, there's two kind of people. There's givers. And there's takers. Right? So. If we're takers, before you know it, people don't wanna hang out with us. Well, because we suck the life out of them, we suck the energy out of them.
Yeah.
Don't you have those friends?
Yeah,
I had people that I purposely avoid.
I have a really tight, so,
Right.
because of that.
So how we show up is really important. There's people here in the office I completely avoid. So I don't wanna hear anybody whine about why things don't happen. Okay, I don't wanna hear anybody, I don't wanna hear negativity, I don't wanna hear gossip, I don't wanna hear anything. So if I know that's what you're bringing me, you better believe I'm like, I'm away.
But yeah.
Yep. Okay. I would highly recommend for you to have one, a log. And to do it daily. And to look at it in the morning. How to, while you make the calls and log them. And make it. A habit to look at it at the end of the day. Because you're gonna, that's almost like a self-check. For how bad you did. You know what I mean, how bad you did, because in New York.
So a lot on how many.
Yeah. And the reason why is because it's almost like a self-check. And it's super important. Okay. Yep. So a follow-up with Leaks 11 goes into more detail on how to do it. Okay.
My session, what?
Yeah, that's the next one.
Oh,
Yeah. The right now, this one was session 10. Section 10. So do you have any questions? We're gonna.
So, setting up the system on command, so I'm still trying to get used to how command works and the tech behind it. So like, let's say, like use MailChimp to like email.
Yeah, I have an account.
And then the text, that you do it through command, right?
There's an account that you can type to command to send, depending on the number of texts you're gonna say, depending on your database,
Yeah.
you can buy that number of messages and stuff.
Okay.
It's very inexpensive.
So if that number, if a contact calls that number, it just, you're calling through command, right?
Correct.
And does it pop up on your phone? They call you through there?
That might be one of the new things that they're added. Like I said, I haven't been using command for the past few years. So because I've been using Landsys. So I think that's one of the things now that is actually, that's super important, by the way, to know who's calling you.
Yeah, because I was gonna use an outside source. Because I went to mobile and they have something called digits. It's like a second line phone, but
Verizon does the same thing.
I was thinking about doing that. That way I know which one is business and which one is personal.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you could definitely do that. And I use the Google number as well, Google Voice. And that's what I use for my marketing. And you know, and that's how I can actually make a ring on the entire team. Everybody with phone rings at the same time. They call one of my agents, Brooke, they call her Ninja. Which is like, she picks up that call so fast. And then the other agent, Tyler, when he gets it, it's a marketing call. He goes, "Hi." But anyway, do you have any questions?
So when it comes to, let's say, lead generation, how like, so the certain compensation are gonna be every part of that. So let's say someone is like, they're interested, but they're kind of hard to break. How do you break that?
Okay, so if they're interested, that's why the meeting is important to kind of do a needs analysis. Right, when they're buying, you do a needs analysis. When they're selling, you know, you want to know also what the question, remember why they're selling, what's causing them to make the move, and how it's going to affect their family. So what you do is you want to come almost like an interview, and try to discover the interest. Okay, because somebody can tell you, I mean, it's really important because sometimes we end up with appointments that they should not be made. Because people are so happy to get the appointment that they take it, right? But the person just filed bankruptcy like a year ago, or 6 months ago.
So how would you qualify them for being?
You ask questions practically, you know, how long you've been thinking about it, how much can you save for down payment? When was the last time you checked your credit? Have you filed bankruptcy in the last 3 years? Simple. Do a professional, you can ask this question. So it is so valid, because if they say, oh yeah, I mean, we have one that came in, we met, great. Then we find out that 6 months ago, they had discharge of bankruptcy. They can be touched for at least 2 years. And some programs. So you want, like people that say, oh, well, I'm thinking of selling. Oh, okay. Well, why? How's that gonna, you know, what caused you to think about it? Well, where are you gonna go? By the way, time wise, how does that look like? So those, you know, just think about it, like if somebody was asking, what questions would somebody have to ask to get what you need to do? Right? And they need to be, some people have a list. Right? And
Like notes?
yeah, and California is actually on command, it's an area of application. There's a lot of videos there you can actually do, look at to learn how to use command. But there's also a lot of documents in there, and I believe one of them is a buyer questionnaire, and there's also a seller questionnaire. Okay, I remember being there a few years ago, so they should still be there under education. All right.
So when it comes to, let's say you want to, now, because that, Tuesdays, you know, actually consider going on. How would you select a farm? How would you determine that's a good place to farm?
Okay, the first thing will be something close to you, either home or office. Second, it will be ask one of the title reps to give you a status of the, what you do is you give them a map, right? The area that you want to door knock. They go and pull reports. And you're gonna find out what the movement is, or it's called turnover, right? The turnover rate. And he's also gonna give you what agents have a market share. Because if one agent is the one that sells all the houses there. I mean, people still do. Me personally, it doesn't work. Because it's gonna be hard to compete against them.
Yeah.
And there's people that take them on. Jay is one of them.
Yeah.
He's taken on some big agents, including the Millman team. That's the team that used to be here. This guy has been in business for 40 years. It's like a machine. This is the beauty of this business, and especially starting when you are so young, that imagine 10 to 15 years from now. And you set this right from the beginning. Just on the turnover, you can make a good. I mean, right now, anybody that makes $100,000 or more. It's the same, and you know, the average salary is crazy, I don't understand.
It's like
$44,000, the low end. $44,000. That's one of my paychecks. I mean, and then I'm like, how do people actually live on that? It's just, I mean, so, like I say, this business it takes patience, it definitely takes dedication and it takes thinking. Not thinking that, because do those, don't complicate it. What I did is I was coming, I had like 6,000 people on my phone. I had connections here, I had connections there, all these people that I knew, and I'm like, light up. Correct. Was no. Huh? Even 3 years, 4 years later, I'm like at events, people are like, hey, how's banking? I'm like, what? I've been in banking for 4 years. So you think they know. And it's that, so right now, when, like I said, the reason why I stress a lot, when the database is small, is when you take control of it. And how you create a system, every Monday, when you have new leads, or whenever you get a new lead, you put it on the system. Still happens to me. Right now, I literally have like 20 sheets. Part because I don't have an assistant right now. But I have the 20 sheets that I need to upload to Command, but because Command is a mess right now, that's part of why I'm not doing it, because we're gonna have to wipe the whole thing out and try to put it back again. So, but if that keeps growing, it's gonna be a pain to get it done. And but on Monday, my new assistant starts, so that'll be good.
That's good. I want to write a business. Having like advice on how to start.
Very simple. How much money you want to make this year? Right now. Of real estate, how much money you want to make this year? 100K. Everybody writes the same thing.
Yeah.
So to make $100,000, okay? How many transactions? How much volume do you need to make? Okay. And based on the area that you're thinking of door knocking, that's what we're gonna take as we don't have a history. Okay, and we're actually gonna go through that with Sandra. So, to take the average price. So let's say, let's shoot $1 million. What area do you live in? Inglewood? We're in the $1 million person, right? Yeah. Yeah, so let's say $1 million, right? So to make $1 million, how much volume do you need to, I'm sorry, to make $100,000, how much volume do you need to?
Volume in terms of property.
No, based on the average price, right, of $1 million. Each $1 million is worth 25,000. Let's say.
I see.
So you need 4 transactions per year.
And you put it in that perspective, yeah. Yeah.
It's something 6 months. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm gonna check on it. No, so it's really that simple, right? So let's say it's $1 million. So you need 4 transactions of $1 million to generate 100,000. But because there's franchise fee, there's expenses, so okay, so why don't you make your goal for the first year $6 million, 10 transactions. And the reason why is because it's an average, right? I mean, if you get a call or you get a plan that wants to buy 500,000, sorry, this is not on my business plan, you need to buy $1 million. So you're gonna end up having multiple transactions. And unfortunately, not until your second, third year, you can start getting an idea of what the average price for you is, what your average price, and then that's how you start budgeting. But for right now, if you go is to make 100,000 from this month, from today till next year.
I mean, I want to make.
Right. Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, you can find 1 or 2 transactions if you get that done. In this market,
What?
but you have to have a target. Okay. The reason why I tell you that everybody starts with 100,000 one, a lot of people are currently not making. And it's a good number to start with. Secondly, it's just easier to do the numbers. So I would suggest, start with $6 million in sales. Okay, 10 transactions. And that will actually, one thing is to, GCI. GCI is what, gross,
That's
the gross income, before expenses, right?
yes.
So $6 million, that would be $150,000 of commission. So for you to net $100,000, if you did $5 million, you can cover your expenses. And still make $100,000. Very easy.
But in that perspective.
Well, so, okay, so the problem is, it seems so easy and you have 12 months to do it, right? The problem is that now you have to divide those transactions that you do, 10 transactions, you divide them in 12 months, less than one a month. But if you miss the first 2 months, nothing. Now you only have 10 months for 10 transactions, and now it's even month.
Yeah,
month.
it stacks up.
But if 6 months from now, you still haven't done anything, now you're behind, seriously. So the lead generation and the activities, the success plan here, if you take anything from today, or your database, and just follow that simple thing, 10 contacts, and contacts are 10 conversations about real estate. Start with the people that like you. People that like and trust you. And then continue to expand from there.
Got it.
You can have. And I know so.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm glad that we got to